Okay, sir. Good morning, participants. I welcome you all for the 5th day of this FTP. For today's session 1, we have Mr. Pradeep, application engineer from Integrated Microsystem with us. Mr. Pradeep works with image processing tools, material modeling, CAD modeling, FEA and CFD models based on 3D image data, and looks over the technical support for Symbolware software and closely works with Symbolware customers to help them with their designs, research, and modeling needs. He also provided live demonstration to various IITs, NITs, hospitals, and faculties of various institutes who are working in the field of 3D image processing, medical devices, patient-specific implant design, 3D printing, material modeling, manufacturing, and simulation. He also works closely with doctors, engineers, and researchers to solve problems through service projects, technical support, and training. So we are having such a expert person today with us who is closely involved with the medical applications and 3D imaging and 3D printing. So he will cover all these aspects to the participant today on behalf of Murugappa Polytechnic and on behalf of Mechanical Engineering Department and on all behalf of all the participants. I welcome Mr. Pradeep for today's session. Welcome, sir. And sir readily accepted our request to deliver a session in this FTP. We must thank him. Thank you very much, sir, and welcome, sir. Now you can start your presentation, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. A very good morning to all the participants who joined this TP. Thank you so much, sir, for inviting me and for the introduction. Thank you so much, sir. So I will start, or we can also wait, sir, if a few more participants can join. Okay, so later they can join. So we can start our presentation. So, sir, in this today's session, we will have two parts. So, first part there would be a presentation only, which will cover the basic of medical image processing and the various steps involved in 3D printing application and the basic steps for this 3D image processing workflow. And then we will discuss a few case studies of the Symbolware software because we are using that software. And after that, we will have a live demonstration of the software, and then we will take an example data set, and then I will show you like how to create an orthopedic model with Symbolware software for research, clinical purpose, and how to segment and separate hard tissue anatomy, and also we will create a surface model for 3D printing export. Okay, and before that, as we know that the application of 3D printing in medicine can provide many benefits. We can say including the customization and personalization of medical product, drugs, and equipment. So the cost effectiveness, we can say increased productivity, the democratization of design and manufacturing, and also enhance the collaboration. Okay. So now, before that, first we will discuss a few the basic things like what is medical image processing. So this medical image processing is, encompasses the use and exploration of 3D. So for the exploration of 3D image dataset of the human body obtained from commonly from MRI, CT, or CT scanner, and then we apply a few filters like transformation and image segmentation and morphological operation. So with these images, it is possible to quantitatively assess a real structure through in silico processes. Okay, so which will help like we can say the radiologist, engineer, and clinician to better understand the anatomy of either individual patient or population group with the help of 3D printing application. Okay, so here we have the basic medical image processing system. Okay, so the first step is this acquisition. So the acquisition start from getting the image, the starting image that we get from MRI scan or CT scan. Okay, And if we are into the field of material, then we also get micro CT scan images. Okay. So this is the first step, the data acquisition. Okay. And then we have this processing. So this processing part will be done by software. Okay. So in the software, we will do the first step, this the pre-processing. Pre-processing means applying some filters for visualizations, and then we have to go for this segmentation. So segmentation is basically to segment our region of interest also. And deduction is also same. If our focus is onto a tumor or a specific location, then we can segment our specific region of interest. Then analyzing results. So we can prepare a report, or we can analyze the what we are going to diagnose. Yeah, then the diagnosis, we can go for 3D printing. For 3D printing, like to better understand the anatomy. Okay, for the specific patient. So these are the various steps in medical 3D printing, as we already discussed. The data acquisition, we have contact, non-contact, and this processing that is done by the software. Then the last step is model generation. So as in earlier sessions, we already discussed these model generation step, the 3D printing, fuse deposition modeling, selective laser sintering, and there are so many methods which we can choose for this model generation. Okay, so now the first question is like the why image-based modeling is needed. So we know that the adoption of 3D imaging technology in many fields is emerging because this image-based modeling reveals external and internal features of the anatomy or of our material data set, because it finds its application in both industrial and medical settings. And we know that the demand for more realistic simulation is increasing day by day because of this expanding capability of our finite element analysis and CFD codes. Okay, so this ever increasing access to high specification hardware. Okay, and this image-based modeling allow us to study of true topology, structures, and material with the help of 3D printing. So now we will discuss like the different parts of the 3D image processing workflow, because this step is necessary for 3D printing preparation if we are into the field of medical domain. So now I will discuss like the workflow of this 3D image processing. So the workflow start with the as we discuss the image import. Okay, so this 3D image import and visualization. So we can import various image formats, like we can import MRI, CT, micro CT, or confocal microscopy, FIBS, and 2D image check or raw image data. One question. Then we can go for this co-registration of multiple data sets. Let's say if we have MRI or CT or X-rays, then we can use few tools that are available in any software. So we can register the two different data sets to see the variation or something that we are going to focus. Then we can visualize our data set if we have very fast high GPU and 3D rendering. We can also reslice. We can also go for reslicing. We can adjust the slice from top to bottom or from bottom to top. Okay, we can change the slicing number also. Okay, so or in the visualization, we can reduce the noise artifacts and we can smooth the images. Then we can go for this image processing. So here we have some various import formats. So in background image, you can see here, this is the background image, we can say a DICOM image of single slice. So we can import, we can go for this DICOM, because DICOM have version this 3.0 and 2D stacks. Okay. So, and in which we have options to store DICOM tags with imported data. We can also import this ACR NEMA images and DICOM D. This is more related to industrial for non-destructive testing and reverse engineering. And then we can import these meta images, raw image data, to 2D image stack in the format of BMP.gi.jpg or TIFF file format, because we know that the Nikon image or the grayscale image have some, it supports some pixel type. So we have various pixel type, that is 8-bit, 16-bit, and 32. So these are more related to this the visualization of the grayscale image. And for this CAD file import, we can also work with the STL file or PLY or the IGS or the STP file. And now for the second step is our segmentation and processing. So we can use various tools which are available in software. So to to segment our region of interest. Okay. We can use various tools like threshold or region growing or flood field to focus or to segment our region of interest. So we can also go, or we can use various tools based on our requirement for this segmentation process. Okay, so we can use this contour-based magnetic lasso. In the later in the demonstration part, I will show you. I will discuss by taking an example data set, like how to create this orthopedic model for research and clinical purpose, and for 3D printing and for teaching purpose. Then we also have an options to use some advanced tool like interpolation tool, that is mostly used in case of spine segmentation and for preparing it for 3D printing to check the accuracy of segmentation and our 3D printed model. We can have a split or merge water-based segmentation, that is okay. And then a grayscale based slice to slice propagation we can use. Next is measurements and analysis. So for this 3D printing preparation, so we can focus on the measurements and analysis. We can use various tools to measure the volume of surface area, orientation, density levels, or point-to-point measurements. We can also get the profile line and grayscale value on the distribution of the grayscale intensity. Okay, so we also we can get the center line. So as you can see in this data set, this is a blood vessel data set. So in which my main focus is to measure the cross-sectional area of at each and particular each at every point. And I can in this I can also measure the shortest distance and the maximum and the mean area, surface area, and the length I can also measure. And we can also go for the wall thickness assessment. We can check the wall thickness, okay, or we can define our own matrices for to quantify our pore faces or fractures. If we have any fracture, and then we can segment it, and then we can measure the length, thickness, the dimension of our fracture. If we are going to 3D print that model for visualizing it in physical state. Then we can assess the statistics globally, or we can say in local region of interest, that we are going to focus on our region of interest. Okay, then we also have this CAD and image integration. We can if we are working on a medical data set and we are having a CAD file, let's say a CAD implant. Okay, then what we can do, we can import, we can export this CAD file from any software, from any CAD packages to this software. Then we can integrate the CAD file with the medical data set, okay, to check the fittings and fittings of this implant with the human anatomy. Okay. So we can use various tools. Let's say landmark registration tool for positioning CAD in image data. Okay, and we can use some automatic tools like this snap tool. Later I will show you like how we can use this snap tool for registering two different data sets, like a CAD file with the image data set, a CAD file with the DICOM file. So we can streamline and flexible process for integrating the lattice structure into the CAD or image data. So this lattice structure we will discuss in the demonstration part, because if we are going to 3D print that the pelvis region, okay, so then we can use lattice structure generation to provide the lattice structure in, we can say the internal lattice structure to this part to reduce the material requirement or to increase the, we can say the strength of our 3D printed model. Okay, so you can see the reduced material uses and weight of 3D printed model. Next, we have this model generation. So we can generate a model according to our requirement. We can generate a STL file model for 3D printing export, and we can generate a finite element model or for a simulation export. If we are using any of simulation tools, you can say the simulation solver, maybe ANSYS, Abacus, or so then what we can do, we can like we can create a finite element or CFD model, or we can define some material properties. We can define some contact nodes or cell sets, or we can also define the boundary layers. And the amazing features that we have is like we can also define the material property based on our grayscale intensity. If So, because we know that the most important property for a bone is the Young's modulus and the Poisson ratio and the mass density. Okay, so we can define this material property by using a few tools available in softwares. So later we will discuss how we can define the material property. Then these are some various export formats that we usually use. We can export the raw image. We can export our surface model in the triangle form, like in the STL file, IGS, ANSYS surface, Abacus surface. So these are only some surface model. We can also export the MATLAB file surface. We can also, like, we have options for animation. Let's say if any of our colleague is not having the software, okay, because okay, then what we can do, we can show him the animation or the 3D PDF so that he can visualize the results that we are going to discuss. We can also export the 2D and 3D screenshots in the file formats like this. We can also generate a virtual X-ray with object burn. You can see the export scenes. We can export the current 3D view in 3D PDF or in VRML format for virtual reality. And then finite element model export, we can export in these various formats. Abacus, we can also export COMSOL or Multiphysics, Nastran, Petran, VTK, MATLAB. For CFD model export, we have options. Based on our requirement, we can go for this Fluent, Abacus, OpenFOAM, COMSOL, or COMSOL Multiphysics, VTK, MATLAB. For this NURBS model export, like to import into any CAD package software, we can export in .stp or .igs form. Okay, now here we have an option of scripting to automate our some part of our workflow. So we can use the scripting, the API, okay, to convert our the log to Python language. Let me just show you how we can convert your log into Python script to automate your some part of your workflow, so that you don't need to use the tool again and again on a similar kind of data set. Here you can see can right click here and convert it to Python to a C sharp. Okay, so with this, we can save our script and then we can run the script again with a single click of just a few clicks. We can generate a final model and we can make it ready for 3D printing. Okay, so now we'll discuss a case studies. Okay, so as we are using the SimpleWare software, so we will discuss the SimpleWare case studies. So the first case study is segmentation and modeling of breast tumor for 3D printing. Okay, so first I will give you the overview of this the case study. So because the 3D printed anatomical model are, we can say, the beginning to have a significant impact on medicine. So basically in this case study, what we can say a model of this, the breast along with the tumor is being treated so that the patient could better understand the diagnosis and subsequent treatment options are, like we can say, the being proposed by the physicians. Okay. And this model was also we can say, the useful for the physician to better visualize the anatomy of the pathology. Okay. So basically, this case study you can say the applies. Let me just. So now we for the initial starting, the first is image processing and segmentation. So initially we get the data set. The data set was MRI received in the form of DICOM format, and this was imported into the SimpleWare software for segmentation. Okay, so to generate a 3D model. Okay. So here you can see a model of the patient with left breast and a model of the resident tumor. Okay. So basically, this case study applies the segmentation tool, which are available in the SimpleWare software to easily generate our 3D model of the breast and tumor of we can say the breast cancer patient in order to we can say that in order to build the common ground through patient education by we can, the presentation of 3D printed model. So this case study also demonstrates the added benefit of enhancing the physician spatial conceptualization of the tumor location and shape with the help of 3D printing. Okay. So for this segmentation, first we used a few tools that are available in the software like window level, threshold. We probe our region of interest, then we use resampling. That later we will see in the demonstration part also. And then we can use the mass flood fill tools and cavity fill, close or dilate or smoothing. Okay. So this because these tools are very, very helpful for tumor segmentation. Okay. So now this is the model generation. For the model generation, okay, so the once we segment our once we have segmented our model from SimpleWare software, okay, so these results were exported as two STL surface model. You can say the breast and this tumor. Okay. So these were then imported into this Autodesk Fusion 360 for further modification. Let's say we can say for before 3D printing. Okay. So in this case study, the model was followed such that the printing part would represent the general external shape, but we can say, but the without internal fill. So the tumor model could be both we can say, both placed and visualized inside the breast. Okay. So also a post was also designed to connect the tumor and this model after printing. Okay, so because the post also ensure the tumor will be located in the proper position after printing, after 3D printing for accurate representation. Okay, so the breast model was also divided into two halves to make the visualization easier. Here we can see the 3D printing and conclusion. Okay, so the 3D this model was imported into a Stratasys GrabCAD GrabCAD for arrangement and processing and sending to the 3D printer. You can see here the breast model was printed with a transparent material. You can see that the tumor is in the opaque material. Okay. And this post you can also see, because the post, you can say the post allow the tumor model to be quickly and accurately oriented to the breast model, because these models are like easy to handle and present as a visual aid for pre-surgical planning for this tumor treatment. Now, let me just conclude this, the conclusion. Okay. So the model of the breast along with the tumor is being treated. We can say it allows the patient to better understand the diagnosis and subsequent treatment options that are being proposed by the physicians. Okay, so and this model are also useful for the physicians, or to the we can use it for the education for teaching purpose to students to better visualize the anatomy of the pathology. Then we have the second case study. This is also related to 3D printing, variability and accuracy of spine segmentation. To the spine segmentation, like we can check the accuracy of our segmented model and with the 3D printed model. Okay. So for this case study, so now I will first I will give you the overview, like background of this case study. So one second. Okay. So the patient-specific computation model of the bony anatomy taken from this medical CT imaging offers significant advances for biomechanics research, because the application of kinematic data acquired during biomechanical testing to specimen specific. Okay, so the three-dimensional model of this spine has emerged as a useful tool in spine biomechanics research for 3D printing also. Okay. So, however, the development of these model is subjected to segmentation error because of we can say the complex morphology and pathologies changes of the spine. We can see here the changes in the spine. Okay, so this helps us to perform the non-invasive investigation of these joint mechanics and interaction between the medical device and the human body using we can say using finite element method. So this is like quite related to simulation field. Okay. So this case study is basically is to check the effectiveness of manual segmentation of lumbar vertebrae with the taking account the proximity of articulating these surfaces, and degenerative joint changes. The joint which we will let us see in the next page. So for this case study, the SimpleWare software was used to generate the suitable model for suitable measurements and analysis. That analysis part is done in MATLAB, and also the 3D printed preparation is done in SimpleWare software. So the first step that with this case study is image processing. So in this case study, the 8 cadaveric lumbar spine were prepared and underwent this, we can say, the CT scanning, because they were clean of muscles and loose connective tissue. And okay, so here we also have some loose tissues. So we remove these tissues. After this 3D image stack, the CT scan images, but then importing into SimpleWare software. Okay, So where we used a few tools like custom window level as well as curvature and anisotropic diffusion noise. These filters were applied. Okay. and and we segmented into individual vertebrae and manually edited to deal with the connectivity across this face joint for preparing it to 3D printing. And some morphological filters are also applied before smoothing was carried out. Okay, so this model was generated in STL format, okay, for export to MATLAB for analysis. And we also have options from here, but once we have generated the STL file, then we can go for the 3D printing of the segmented spine. Okay, next is the analysis. So after export to MATLAB, so these the CT images of the full lumbar specimen were segmented twice by the two operator, and the data of individual vertebrae with the soft tissue removed were segmented as well again. Okay, so the solid model derived from these different segmentation session we registered, and the distribution of distance between the nearest neighboring point were calculated to we can say, to evaluate the accuracy and precision of the segmentation technique. Okay, because this accuracy of the segmentation will help us. We can compare the accuracy of our segmentation with the 3D printed model. So here are some results that are from the MATLAB. Okay. So after the export to MATLAB for analysis, a map of the nearest neighbor distance between each model was created for each vertebrae, and the distribution of their distance. The distance were analyzed. Okay. So what we find out, the 5 vertebrae were disarticulated from their neighbors. From their neighbors. So they were clean of all the soft tissue and then rescanned and segmented without the vertebrae and soft tissue to evaluate the original segmentation routine. So this analysis of segmentation, this error, RMS error, which was below to this 0.39 mm. So for the accuracy based on comparison between the model before and after this articulation. So here at this point we can see this articulation. Okay, so this test therefore demonstrates the accuracy of model generated from CT images of the lumbar spine in SimpleWare software. So this indicates the potential of future study involving into the patient-specific modeling of lumbar spine. Okay, so this is our last case study, the total hip replacement and implant positioning. So as we know that the implant positioning represents a significant challenge for this the total hip replacement. Because we know that the implant should be well fitted and positioned with the medullary canal and should ideally maximize the femoral bone implant contact area. So, this approach is not intended to replace the experiment, but it can help the surgeon to better understand the effect of implant position on primary or secondary stability. Okay. So for this total hip replacement and implant positioning, the first step is our image processing and then CAD integration and FEM meshing. So for this image processing, we used the SimpleWare ScanIP and CAD module. Okay, so these were used to register the CAD file. You can see the implant. Okay, and the finger model that we get from CT scan. We can register this CAD implant, so the CAD design implant with the medical data set. to check the best and worst fitting of this implant with the patient anatomy. Okay. So after the positioning of and integration of this CAD implant with the medical data set, a finite element mesh was generated and it was exported to ANSYS Workbench for this micro motion simulation. So here in this case study, the simple scripting was also used to automate the process of generating the multiple implant position, because a multiple implant position is a very tough task. So with the scripting, we can reduce, we can automate our some part of workflow. Now, last is this stress analysis and response surface model. Okay. So the initially the AFI model was exported to ANSYS Workbench for this micro motion simulation. So based on the successful simulation generated from 1,000 potential candidates. So after the simulation, a response surface model was generated. You can see here by interpolating the 425 successful simulation point with the Kinging regression method. So this ANSYS Workbench was able to determine the RMS, or we can determine the implant position. Okay, so that leads to the highest and lowest possible values of this implant micromotion. So these results can be interpreted by surgeons to predict what the best and worst position are for an implant. So here are the results. You can see this shows the best position for implant, and this is the worst position for an implant. Okay, now the last after the implant positioning, we have option to export for to this model for 3D printing. Here you can see we can provide the internal lattice structure. You can see here to reduce the material requirement and to provide the strength to our 3D printed model. Okay. So now we will move to the demonstration part for this medical image processing and 3D printing preparation by using this Synopsys SimPleware software. Let me just switch my screen. Now I will show you the software part, how to create a 3D model and how to prepare it for 3D printing. Just give me a second. Okay, so I hope my screen is visible to everyone.
Yes, sir.
One second. Okay, so in this demonstration part, so what we are going to discuss, like we are going to look how to create our orthopedic model for research clinical purpose, and how to, you can say, how to segment and separate hard tissue and soft tissue. We will also create a surface model for 3D printing. So this is the graphical user interface of the software. So we can import these DICOM images. We can start with the images that we get from micro CT scanner. Okay, these DICOM images that we get from a CT scanner or MRI scanner. DICOM images is more related to industrial purpose for reverse engineering and for non-destructive testing and non-destructive validation. So we can also start with the CAD and STL file. We can also import a volume mesh file that we can also get from any solver, or we can start with the blank images. And if we have done any project, we can also open our already saved project. Here are some helps and supports. So on the left hand side, we can see the project information. Okay. On the top, we have this tool ribbon. These are arranged in a chronological manner. So now here we have this 3D printing. Okay. So this will help us a lot in preparing our file for 3D printing. Then we have a few tools for view and visualization. Then we have this My Tool tab to organize our repeated tool that we have mostly used again and again. So now I will start by, because for today's session, our topic is biomedical application 3D printing. I'm going to import a DICOM file of pelvic region. And click here. So this brings me to this import dialog box. So here I can scan the folder. So here I can see this pelvic, this DICOM. I can select this. And so here we can see the patient name, images, frame, and type of modality used. Okay. Or we can check the slice preview, whether we have imported the correct data set or wrong data set. So we can see the number of slices. There are 280 slices. We have some DICOM tags. We can anonymize our DICOM tags. And click here. Okay. So this is our data set. So as we can see, these are the 4 views. Out of these three views are 2D orthogonal slice view. So these are in medical terms, we can say coronal, axial, and sagittal. Okay. Or we can also change our view. So the orientation we can change. Here we can select the medical and the engineering. So these engineering you can also see. But for today's, I'm going to select this medical. Select this medical. So you can see the coronal, sagittal, and axial. So here we have this dataset browser. So and this is our 3D view. You can expand this 3D. So this is our CT dataset. So for this, I'm going to segment this the pelvic region. I'm going to segment this left femur, right femur, sacrum, left hip, and right hip. Only heart tissue I'm going to segment. But I can see the volume rendering. We have a range of presets. So based on our requirement, so we can select this normal intensity, and we can also select this bone. Because I'm going to focus only on this bone. So this is just only a 3D rendering, the volume rendering, to visualize our data set. Okay, so now we can go to like to visualize our data set. If our data set is not in like this data set is quite good, but I can clearly see the bone by scrolling this slides. Let's say if our data set is not in like it is having some kind of noise and artifacts, then we can use few tools. Let me just show you this window level. So this is just to change the range of grayscale values that are visualized. Let's see here. Okay. And select. So now after this, you have option like the image processing tab. So we have option in the transform. So we can crop our data set according to our requirement or according to our region of interest. So my main focus is only on to this pelvic region. So my main region of interest is only this region. So it is already cropped, or we can use this crop to crop our specific region of interest by adjusting this or in the 3D or in the 2D we can also use. Okay. Now we can use this resample to downscale or upscale your data set so that it will not increase the memory requirement. But this data set is of, you can see here the data set memory is 62 MB, around 62.23 MB. So here no need of downsampling this data set. Cancel it. Okay. So now I'm going to segment our this region of interest. So for the segmentation, because we are preparing it for 3D printing, so we have to segment our region of interest. I'm going to segment this femur, sacrum, hip, and use. So for the segmentation, I can either use the manual approach or I can use some automated tools. Some automated tools are like this, the multi-level OTSU segmentation. So with just a few clicks, we can segment our hard tissue or soft tissue, only hard tissue. So I'm going to use this manual approach. I can use this threshold. I can expand this. Okay, so whenever I scroll this histogram or this bar, so we will see the changes in this 2D view. So I'm selecting a proper range of grayscale values, lower values and upper values. So what it will does, it will identify the the grayscale which are lying in this range. Fine. Okay. So here we have option like if we want to fill some cavities in the resulting mass, or we are only if we are focusing like we can keep the larger resulting island. So click here, generate this. Okay. So here we can see there are some noise is also present there. So now I'm going to remove these noises. You can hide these noises. I'm going to use tool, or if I click here like this, only keep this resulting island. So it will remove this all island type of noises. Okay. So click it and replace it. We'll see the changes in this 3D. Okay. So now there is no noise present. Okay, so now we have done with the like to split the initial segmentation into the three parts. So we will use the split region tool to split the different regions. So the split region tool is also available in this segmentation tool, and use this split region. So first I will show you how we can split the regions in 2D views, and then we will see in the 3D. First I'm going to show in 2D. So here we have to identify where is we can split the two different masks. Okay. I can add a reason. So roughly, this we have to mark the surfaces that we are going to split. For this, I'm going to split this hip from this femur. Again, I can add the reason. So you don't need to be very accurate. You just need to provide the marking. I can click apply. Generate a fast preview. And expand it. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to split this sacrum from this right hip and left hip. Okay, so for this I need to turn on this live 3D. I can add a reason and roughly mark the surface. Again this, and again add a reason. Apply. Use this 3D preview. Okay. Okay, so we have done with this segmentation. So now we can clearly see these some open surfaces or open cavities. So we can fill this cavity either by manually or by using some automated tools. So for the whole model, I think it will take time. So I'm just going to focus only on this right femur. Okay. I can rename this as a right femur. Okay. Just let me just, because I forget to split these femurs. Okay. So now I can rename this the proximal femur, this right proximal. I can isolate it. Okay. So here we can see some open boundaries, open cavities. So these are maybe because of the scanning issue. So because when initially I use this the threshold, okay, so there are some pixels which are missing at this point. So for preparing it for 3D printing, I'm going to close these open boundaries. For closing these, I can use to show you. I can use this paint tool. I'm just going to close these open cavities. So I can paint the open cavities. So where we see any open boundaries, we can just paint that. So we can use the different approach to close these open pores. So either you can use the paint approach to paint the open cavities by slice. Okay, so to paint these slice by slice, it will take time. So I have already have a the project. After this paint tool, I can show you this. So after applying a paint tool and by applying this close filter, so this morphological close filter, and click here this close. You can see how this close filter will work. So it remove the small holes. Okay. And then we can use some cavity fill tools to fill the cavities which are present in the right femur. You can see here. Okay. Because I'm focusing only on this right femur, not only on the whole model. So for the whole model, later I will show you a complete project. We just isolate it and close it. So now I can apply some smoothing filters. Just use this recursive Gaussian. Apply this. We can also see the cavity. So we have options to fill this internal cavity. I will show you. Okay. So let's leave it. I'm going to provide some internal lattice structure. Let's just close this. Fill there. You can see it is closed. So for preparing it to 3D printing, I need to generate a 3D preview and generate a model preview. Then I can convert it into a surface. Before that, you have options to export it. You can click here export. Yes, I can export it as a STL file. So let's just cancel it because I'm going to show you another tool which is very helpful in 3D printing. Okay. I can convert it to surface. See this surface. Let me show you. Right now it is only surface. You can see here. So I'm going to provide this internal lattice structure to this right femur. And go to this measurement tab, this surface tool tab, and select this internal structure wizard. Select. I can choose here if I want to provide the cell thickness. Okay, so let me just keep it to 2.1. I can define the cell triangulation and fill the small cavities. I can select the unit cell type. This type of internal structure I'm going to provide to this right femur. Okay. We have different There are various unit cell type available which we can use. Let's just keep it to this one and go right. And click in the next. Finished. Okay. Generate. So then again go to this view. You see here, it. I can change this color to bone. You can see the internal structure because it will help us in 3D printing to provide strength and to reduce the material requirement. Okay. And for this, go to this model PU, generate a model PU, and then export it as a STL file. So the multi-part export of options are there. You can write each part to a separate file. You can use a single part export option for color the part. Click here export. So you can save it as a STL file. Those. Now let me just show you the complete model. So this is the final project. It is ready for 3D printing. Go to this 3D printing. Okay. I'll just show you in the 3D printing surface model. So preparing it for 3D printing, like for creating a surface model. So we can export in these file formats. We can export as a the 3MF file, surface file, a surface file only. Wavelet point cloud. Okay, let me just show you another feature which help us a lot in 3D printer preparation. So you can say this is a mandible. Okay. Because we know that the 3D printing is becoming the increasingly popular for this medical field, where we can say the medical device, where the device manufacturing, pre-surgical planning, or the patient communication and training of or the training would require this highly accurate patient-specific model. Okay. And for this 3D printing preparation, we have these various options like data conversion, preparation, and grayscale visualization, inspection, and export. Okay. So the what are the like if we discuss the benefits of this 3D printing, the toolkit. For because once you have segmented your image data by either using the some automated tools or a range of like the semi-automated tools and a manual tools. Okay. So you can like you can convert these image-based masks into surfaces. Okay, the segmented data can also be combined. This segmented data can also be combined with the CAD models. Okay, CAD models, or we can say implant processes and other medical device to build up your model. Okay. I can use this the data conversion. First, I can generate this model preview, then use this mask to surface conversion tool. Okay. Then for this preparation, we can use this embossed text. Okay. So this embossed text, like it will help you in traceability. You can add patient or a part number to model using this embossed tool. And select this. You can enter the like the patient name or the model name. So let's say 342. Select this the font type. Let's just select this area. I can define the size of object, the size of text. You can use the action. Either I want to emboss the text or either I want to deboss the text. I can define the depth of our text. Can also define the overlay inside. Can select. Click apply. Yeah, let us cancel it. It is taking time for embossing this text. Okay, so just like that, you can emboss your text so that it will help you in traceability of your data set. Okay, so then we have options to like holo. We can holo our the surface model. Whether I want holo inward or holo outward, I can select. I can define the bone thickness of our holo model. Okay. And click apply. It will holo our model. Okay. So then cut. We can use some tools like cut or like let me just show you this keyboard. Because I'm going to cut this region because this will help us in surgical planning or for surgical preparation. I don't know why it is taking. Just cancel. Okay. Create it. Or we can also create connectors, just like the I've already created these connectors. So that when we 3D print that model, so that the actual anatomy remains the same. So that in actual we can measure or we can visualize the fracture or fracture length. Okay. So while 3D printing, so it will help this model as a support to image or to connect these two parts. Now, for this analysis, you can visualize like a grayscale visualization. Okay, you can visualize the grayscale data. So based on the density of data set, where we have the most of the grayscale values are used, most of the dense part we have. Then we have the color proofing. Let's say if you have access to a color printer, okay, and it can similarly be useful to visualize grayscale information from your image, from your original image data on a 3D printed model. You can see here the results are shown as a color map. Okay, so here if we are using any of the 3D printer, so we can color proof our model according to our specific 3D printer. Then we can check the printability of our model. It can help us to identify some common pitfalls, such as whether the model is watertight, has self-intersection, or the known manifold edges, thin walls. So here you can see. So this red indicates that the 3D printing. So this is not going to be like very accurate. So this will create a problem in 3D printing. So in addition, you can color proof your model for a specific, as I already told you, a specific 3D printer. Okay, so once the part has been inspected, so it can be exported, so it can be exported in a range of formats that are commonly used by the 3D printer. That it is 3D, 3MF, STL, OBJ, PLY, PDF, WLM. Select. Okay. So, sir, this is all that I prepared for this today's session. So now, me and my colleague Jagyasu, we are ready for the questions. So, participant, here, sir, you can ask the questions.
Sir, good morning, sir. This is Shanti from Murugappa Polytechnic College. Sir, this biomedical implementation, this whatever the organs you are making, how far it is successful, sir? How much percentage it is giving successful to the patients?
Ma'am, are you talking about the accuracy of these models?
Yes, sir, accuracy.
Yeah, so the models are fairly accurate with, RMS error of lower than 0.3. And so there are few published papers as well which discuss exactly the same and show that how accurate the model are. So the models are fairly accurate, and it also depends on the output that you can take as well as the segmentation that you do.
I mean to say, sir, like how much the patients after we will be implement these organs after implanting on the patient's body, and do you have any this case study? Is it going on success for how long it will go?
That is a very different thing, I believe. That is completely dependent on the type of material that you are selecting for implant and the position of implant. So a case study that Pradeep discussed today was related to best and worst position
Yes, sir.
of implant.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I know, but just so I want to ask you this, sir, how much success of the, with respect to patient side, how much, because the heart transplantation, everything they do successfully, but the survival of the patient will be, that is varying. It may be of 1 month or 1 year, it varies like that. So this inorganic material, you are putting it, but success, it depends upon the patient. Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you.
patient, material, the type of implant, the type of manufacturing that implant has undergone, and I mean the surgery itself. So I'm sorry, ma'am, but I don't have an exact number right now that I can give you for this.
Yes, sir. I couldn't get you, sir.
Ma'am, I'm saying that there are multiple factors that that can lead up to the answers that you are asking. So right now, I don't have a number for the percentage, like how many patients have successfully, are successfully living with the implant. So I don't have that data with me right now.
Okay, sir. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Ma'am.
So there is one more question posted in the chat box, sir. Just kindly go through that questions. Sir, Pradeep, sir.
Yes, sir, this is Jigyasu. I'm a colleague of Pradeep, so I will also be attending a few questions. So I'm just reading through the question that we have received.
Yes, sir. Yes, yes, sir. Yes. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
The question, I didn't get the question very clearly, but if you are asking about surgical planning, so yes, there are some tools available that in where you can do the surgical planning after you have generated the 3D models and your implants, whatever dental implants or CMF implants that you are going to use. So you can incorporate those implants in there and understand how the surgery will be done at the end.
So participants, if any other participants have any query, kindly unmute your mic.
Am I audible, sir? Am I audible?
Yes. Yes, ma'am, I can hear you.
Am I audible, sir?
Yes, ma'am, you are audible.
Am I audible? Sir, this question was typed by me, sir. My question is, this jaw need to be repaired. So after making this model, will the gap to be filled be made and both fixed? Or why should this be done is my question, sir.
Okay, so your question is why it should be 3D printed and how can it be repaired? Something like this?
Sir, if a patient has this problem, the doctor need to fill it or correct it. So
Right.
should this be made or should the gap structure be made? That is my doubt.
Okay, okay. So usually what happens after this stage, after modeling and 3D printing, the surgeon gets an idea about what he wants to do. Usually they go for customized implants. They will design some implants which will be used to fix this fracture they will try to make it as close as possible for that particular patient.
Okay, okay, sir. Okay. And even in the earlier case, why should the tumor be made? The tumor has to be removed, no, sir? For a
That
patient,
is,
why should that model be printed? The
yes.
tumor structure.
So
Is it as a
sometimes
teaching
a
aid or is
patient,
it for the, yes, sir?
yes, ma'am.
Is it for teaching medical students or is it to treat the patient?
Okay, so there can be both applications. In that particular case study, it was to educate the patient to understand how the surgery will undergo, so that she understands what will be done, what will be the surgical procedure that will be done. So in that particular case, it was done for patient education. Other than this, teaching of students as well as multiple surgeons is also done using 3D printed models, so that they understand what they are going to deal with. So that is another application where it can be used. And yes,
Okay.
the tumor will be treated, but the 3D printed model gives them a very good idea about the position of the tumor and the approach they want to.
Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you.
Any other questions from the participants? Okay, thank you. So at the outset, our thanks to Mr. Pradeep and his colleague from Integrated Microsystem for delivered a wonderful session on 3D printing's application in medical field. So in all the 5 days, we are having different sessions on different application area. This is going to be a extensive and exemplary session on medical application of 3D printing. So on behalf of the Murugappa Polytechnic Department of Mechanical Engineering and on all behalf of the participants, I extend our heartiest thanks to Mr. Pradeep and his team from Integrated Microsystem. So thank you, sir. Pradeep, sir, thank you, sir. And convey our thanks to your team. Thanks, sir. Sir, Pradeep, sir.
Sir, I think he is having some issue with his mic. So thank you very much for inviting us for this ability, sir.
Oh, sorry, sir. I thought it's somewhere. That's why I muted your mic. That some audio came. That's why I muted my. Sorry, sir.
No issues.
Kindly convey our thanks to Pradeep, sir, and your colleagues and you for the wonderful session, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
It's wonderful. Thank you so much, sir, for inviting
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. We'll be in touch, sir. If any help required, kindly extend your possible support, sir.
Yes, thank you so much, sir. Yes.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.